Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to do this video, and I think this video is going to help a lot of people today. Me and one of the people on my team, we were talking about thinking bigger. Like, how do you think bigger, Victor? Like, what is it that you do? Like, how do you go from, like, well, be honest with you guys, I've always thought big, but when you're surrounded by people who think small, man, it can get tough. So one of the ways to think bigger that I've always done was, one, I surround myself by it. Like, my shirt is a book I wrote called "You Need More Cash Flow." You can go to Amazon to get it, or you can hit us up for it. But the title was for me. These are my goals. You need more cash flow. You might as well say, Victor, you need more cash flow. When you see me have, like, this is everywhere. It's on my phone. It's on my desktop. Like, get to 100 million, raise $100 million, then raise $1 billion. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm constantly thinking bigger, but I'll bring it back some. I wasn't always like that. So my thinking big was always outside of the scope of people around me. But then I needed to start bigger than I could think. Like, how big could I think? And I remember specifically one time, guys, I was in a real estate seminar. I was in a Scott Shield seminar, Jay Scott Shield. Not the one from Bigger Pockets, but the original Jay Scott. He's a great friend of mine. Scott, thanks, man. But it was the creative commercial real estate. And I think they have like creative commercial, whatever it's going on right now. I think they got something coming up in Vegas. But anyways, he had one of my mentors come in at the time. I had never heard of him before. His name was T. Harv Eker. Go check him out, T. Harv Eker. He's more the personal development, personal growth, but millionaire mind guy. Yeah, that's what it was. The millionaire mind guy. But he asked everybody in the audience. He was like, hey, so you guys are all wanting to do commercial real estate, multifamily real estate, whatever. Write down what your financial goals are, or your net worth goals, or how much real estate you're going to buy. Write down how much you want. And I remember specifically, I was thinking I was crushing it too. I wrote down, I want to own $300 million worth of real estate. And he was like, okay, turn to your partner and read off what you wrote. And I wrote off, I was bigger than the person sitting next to me. And then my buddy Kahea, we were sitting next to each other, turned to the other side. He and I both had pretty much the same goals, right? Multi-million dollars worth of real estate. We were going to do it. And then after the drill was over, after the thing was over, we all high five. You got a millionaire mind. Blah. We turned back to the stage, and he goes, now, I want all of you to know that you're thinking way too small, and that getting wealthy and being rich is going to be so hard. It doesn't make sense for you to have a goal that small. And I want to challenge you guys today. Whatever you wrote down on your paper, write a 0 on the end of it. That moved my brain from thinking from 300 million in real estate to $3 billion in real estate. And it was like, blew my mind. I had no idea I was going to do that. And I wish I had it up here. I would show you guys. I've been writing my goals down even since then, like in 06 or whatever it was. $3 billion worth of real estate, $3 billion worth of real estate. So even now I go, look, my goal is $1 billion worth of real estate. That's not a goal. That's a target. I'm going to go to 10, then I'm going to go to 50 billion with a B, $1 billion worth of real estate. So you have to have somebody in your space first, get you to think bigger than the people around you. Second, get you to think bigger than you thought, and then challenge you to go after it. Right. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you guys about thinking bigger. I think there's a process to do that. And here's how. Where's my pen? There we go. So I hope this expands your mind, because that's what it was. First, it was somebody who actually pushed. It's like simple as writing a 0 on the back of your current goals, because they're going to be so hard to get after. And then start working towards that. It blew my mind, because I was like, man, I didn't think $3 billion worth of real estate was possible. But then he was like, there's people out there doing billions of dollars worth of real estate. You're just not doing it. You're thinking you're this little guy and you can't do it. But why think like that? And worst case, let's say you don't get it, because I hadn't hit it. And it was like, oh, well, if you don't, but I've done way more than I ever thought that I would. I trumped the numbers that I wrote down, right? Like not the $300 million worth of assets, because we're working on that now. But my goals before that were like 20 million. I'm going to get to 5 million. They were so small. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you guys about them. But let's do that first. So if you're looking at your own goals, one, you need a goal, right? I would say this for you guys. You need cash flow goals. All right here. Cash flow goals. You need wealth goals, right? Very important. You need cash flow goals. You need wealth goals. and these are in no specific order. You need income goals, which is your money. Let's say you work a job now and you need to understand what that is. And you need net worth goals. So when you start off with your goals, you go, okay, cool. I need to know what? First, you need to know you have an income goal. How much money do you make right now? And then how much money do you want to make? And then you go, okay, cool. How much cash flow do I want? To be financially free, you really only need to get your cash flow to equal your income currently today, where you're not working for it. It just comes in. You need to invest money in a deal, go hustle a couple of deals, whether it's real estate or your business, whatever it is you're doing, and have the money coming in from the money that you just invested either in your business or real estate, whether you're going to turn a deal and make that money to equal out what you were making in income. Now you have financial freedom or financial flexibility. Yeah, I'm still watching that. Hold on. Well, right, or financial flexibility is what I like to call it, right? And then next, you need net worth goals. Like my $1 billion goal is a net worth goal. I'm not going to have $1 billion in an account. That doesn't happen for most people. But I have a goal, right? Multi-billion-dollar net worth in real estate. Cash flow goals. Mine's is $15 million. That's income and cash flow coming in off my real estate. It's probably going to be more than that in my lifetime. And then for wealth, I want to have a company that continues to acquire multifamily properties with Bell Capital, raise capital from investors, pay my investors, and continue to acquire assets for the rest of my life. What is it for you? Let's say you have a business right now and you go, cool, I would be happy if my business was making $100,000 a year. Then bump it to $1 million. If it's $1 million, bump it to 10 million. If it's 10 million, bump it to 100. Realistically, you guys all should be to the part to where you're trying to get to $100 million. Whether that's company revenue, net worth, assets being held, whatever. That's just kind of a breaking point, right? For you to be able to get there. And you need to be in a vehicle to do that. But that's how you start thinking bigger. Just simply take all your current goals, add a 0 to the back of them. Boom. And just start looking at that and go, man. And I mean, look at it every day. You need more cash flow every day. Get to 100 million. 100 million is raised capital. $100 million worth of raise money, equity, buys me $300 million worth of real estate. All right. Then the next one, do it all over again. And then again and again. Like you start to get excited. I write my goals down every day. I write them down every day, nonstop, like clockwork. And I've been doing it for years. And that is how you start to think bigger. It's almost like brainwashing yourself. But be honest with you, people who are brainwashed believe, and that belief becomes their reality. That's my reality. I'm a billionaire already. I'm just moving towards it. It's taking longer because I keep getting derailed, but that's over, right? So the next thing, and that's number 1. Number 2, you need skills. What's the skills that you need? You need to know the skills that you need to make more income, to invest money so you can get cash flow. And then from that cash flow investment, you create wealth and in turn growing your net worth. What are the skills that you need? I can tell you 100%. If you have a business that you run or you're in real estate like me, you got to learn how to market. You got to learn how to sell. You got to learn how to negotiate. You got to understand financing. Doesn't matter whether it's bank financing, creative financing, raising money from investors, whatever it is that you're doing. You still need to know these things. These are the skill sets. Now, if this is a real estate thing, hey, you need to know how to find a deal. You need to know how to find investors. You need to know how to find banks and brokers who are going to lend to you. You need to sell your ideas, sell your multifamily property to them, sell your own people on them. Like, hey, I got a management team. I have my investor relations team. I have my own personal experience. That's sales, right? You talk to an investor. When I talk to my investor, I'm like, hey, how liquid are you guys? What are you looking to invest in? Here's the deals we got. Again, sales. You got to learn that. These are the skills that pay the bills, man. Guaranteed you got to do that. This is how wealth is created, guys. This is how you expand and you start thinking bigger, right? And then you got to be like, hey, how do I negotiate? You got to learn how to negotiate, whatever that is. This is a skill. This is actually a part of sales. Sales and negotiate, sell and closings. Right? So once you learn how to either, if you're in real estate, find the deals, find the money, find the management team, all the people that you're going to need for your team and or a business, you got to learn how to sell and you got to learn how to close those people on your ideas and working with you. Or if you're in a business, you need to learn how to sell the product and you need to be able to close your customer or your client to give you income and or money, right? Next, you need to learn how to negotiate. That's another strategy. And you need to understand financing, how to finance properties, how to finance your business, how to understand personal finance so you don't blow all your money. These are the big skills that you're going to need. And I can tell you guys, most people get this thing wrong. I go over this in one of my trainings. 70% of your time needs to be spent on marketing, selling, closing, negotiating, and financing. The other 30% of your time, that goes into administration and organization. That's it. Everything else is a waste of time because let's be honest, marketing, selling, and closing, negotiating, and financing are the only things inside of a business, whether it's a real estate investing or investment or deal or your actual business or an entrepreneur. This is the only thing that makes you money. 70% of your time should be spent on money. 30% of your time is on administration. Actually, it should be 15-15. Administration, operations, and or production. That's it. So when you're thinking about thinking bigger, there's a process. First, what are your goals? How much money you want to make? How much wealth? How much cash flow? What is your net worth going to be? Then add a 0 to that number. Make it bigger. Next, what are the skills you're going to need? Marketing, selling, closing. Within sales and closing, you got to learn how to negotiate, and you do need to understand money and finance, how it works. Man, okay, first, guys, if someone has sat me down and taught me this in the very beginning when I was structuring my goals, all somebody did was say, hey, here's how you do real estate. What are your goals? Add a 0 on the back of them. But the rest of it was missing. They weren't motivated to teach me that, hey, there's a skill set that goes inside of real estate investing. There's a skill set that goes with business. I didn't know that. I was just running around hustling, selling. Hey, would you buy my stuff? Would you do this? Would you give me this deal? Let me take it over. I didn't know that I was building a skill set that helped add value to the world that I can exchange for money. All right. So I know I'm going fast, man. It's just exciting for me. Like this one is special. So thanks for my team for actually suggesting, how do you think bigger? This is how I think bigger. Because once I start adding on to those skills, first, I know what I'm doing it for. I know how much money I want to make. Next, how do I think bigger about my skills? I'm great at sales. I'm great at real estate. I'm great at creative finance. There's no one better than me on the planet that does creative finance at all. Trust me. Even my mentors, I'm better than them at what I do, period. Multifamily real estate, I'm the best that I know in multifamily real estate. I can get it hands down, and I'm getting better at running the organization. I'm an overseer, but I'm very hard and I push really hard, and that makes some people nervous. So I'm getting better at, managing people and being a little bit nicer and talking a certain way, but whatever. So the next thing you got to focus on, very important, is your vehicle. And we were just talking about that, or your assets. Assets. Cool. So for me, it's real estate. And that's a single family, and that's also multifamily real estate, right? For you, it could be your business, or it could be your job, job, whatever that is. But this is the vehicle you're currently in. And I will say this, if you have a job, you can still make money. You can hustle, you can have a business on the side, you can work for somebody like me on the side where you go like, hey, I'm going to help this guy buy more real estate, talk to more people, and I'll be a part of the deals, equity and stuff like that in the future. Or let's say you have a business, you can sell something. You can go into somebody else's business and sell something. Hell, you can help us. We have our real estate course. You can be like, Vic, if I helped you sell your real estate course, I know a bunch of people. Let me help you do that. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to take care of you. Same thing for finding deals. Or the vehicle that I've been using forever, because that's my vehicle, is real estate. As a business, I buy properties and I sell them. That's my job. That's my business. I'm an investor. Same thing. But once you know where you're headed, how do you think bigger? You get real clear on the vehicle you're in. So I can pick $1 billion, I can pick $1 billion payoff because my vehicle has a long enough runway. Real estate, there's multiple billionaires in real estate. For me, it's 4,000 units at $300,000 a door. That's $1.2 billion worth of real estate, multifamily real estate. I know the bank will give me about 60, 70% of that. So I budgeted in my head, I need to raise about $400 million to do it. And I'm going to get the other $700 million from the bank. Very easy to do. Why? Because I chose real estate, multifamily apartment real estate, and I started a real estate fund to do it. Like my vehicle is very clear. So it's a lot easier for me to think bigger on those terms because I started studying people. What do the people have that I want? Billionaires, multi-billionaires. They own private equity firms, hedge funds. They all start private equity funds or real estate funds. And this is what they did. Now, everybody doesn't want to do that. You may not have the time and or the expertise. But I'm explaining to you, how do you think bigger? One, you need to get real clear on the vehicle you're going to use. Now, businesses, there's tons of business owners who are multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires. And there's multi-millionaires, be honest with you, that just have a job. They're doctors, they're attorneys, they're lawyers. They start their own company because they worked at a job, they figured out something, and then they are consultants to other things because they started that way. But there is enough runway for you to expand and start thinking bigger about what you're doing. Super important to get that piece. Last but not least, this is the third one. Number 4, you got to scale. Oh, this is a big fancy word, but to be honest with you, it just means systemize, right? So scaling is ultimately systemizing. So how do you scale? There's 2 parts to scaling. First, you keep doing what works. You document it, you write it down. For us, that's scripts, that's investor school that we talk about. I use that to train my team. I use that to train myself. I wrote down and documented as a policies and procedures manual for my whole company. How to talk to sellers, how to find deals, how to sell deals, how to negotiate, how to raise money, how to get our deals funded. It explains exactly what to do because I wanted to document and write down, systemize how we do what we do. That's how you scale. Now, scaling, which is just another version, scaling, this is people. People, right? So in this situation, how you going about thinking bigger, you go from scale, you write down what you do, and you start to replicate it over and over and over again because it's working. And next, you don't change anything once you scale. You start scaling by adding more people. And I know some of you guys are like, well, I don't know, man. I don't want to add people, and people are problems. Look, problems are really around because you don't have enough people. We got a rule in our office. This only matters because we didn't have enough people. This only matters because we only had one. We only had one deal, one person working on this thing. It's never the thing. It's always we didn't have enough people. We didn't have enough customers. We didn't have enough investors. We didn't have enough deals. We didn't have enough brokers. We didn't have enough bankers. Do you get what I'm saying? So at some point when you have something that works and it is making you money, the way to go about getting more is to be able to scale. Like for us, we're like, hey, don't do any more 20, 30, 40 unit deals. Go after 80, 100, 200 unit apartment buildings. That's a way to be able to scale through people because people in those properties are tenants. Our tenants are really our customers. What would you rather have? One customer in a house that's paying you, or you buy an apartment building that has 200 tenants in there. So now you have 200 customers, and every month they pay like clockwork. They're qualified, they're ready to go, and they've been doing it forever, and they'll do it for at least 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 50. That's the game. That's how I decided to scale because I knew what my vehicle was. Real estate, single family, multifamily makes me money. This one actually makes me money as well as cash flow because why? You need more cash flow. And then I was like, hey, how do we scale this? We put it down on paper. I started a real estate fund, and then I started adding people to that, more investors, bigger deals, more brokers, more units. Boom, man. This is exciting for me. I get excited because I do want to help you guys get better. Like we said, how do you think bigger? First, you got to think bigger. Like I know that sounds crazy, but how do you think bigger? Think bigger. Get around somebody who's going to, one, challenge you to grow outside of your environment. Next, challenge you to grow outside of your own head and put it down on paper and you write it down every day. What are your wealth goals? How much cash flow do you need? What is your current income and what do you want it to be in a relatively short amount of time? And then what is your net worth? What do you want? What is your net worth in your lifetime? What do you want that to be? Have a number. Don't just willy-nilly that out. I'll go over it because I know it like the back of my mind. Next, what are your skill sets that you need? What are the big skills? You're really only 3 big skills: marketing, sales, and closing. That's it. Marketing, sales, and closing. So that means finding the deals, finding the money, and then managing those deals if you're in real estate. If it's in business, marketing your product and what you are and who you are, getting in front of a customer and selling them on whatever it is that you have, and then closing them and collecting that money, and then having that money start to work for you, right? And like you said, those are the skills. Now we move into what are the big vehicles you need to focus on. There's only a couple. It's going to be real estate, business, or your current job. That is how you're going to make money, right? Even if your job becomes your future business and that business you made money off of your business and you started investing it in real estate with somebody like myself or someone else or your own deals, that's how it's going to work. Last but not least, number 4 of ways to think big is you start, how do I scale what I'm already doing? Write it down and it becomes my new process, right? My new system. It's systemized. So I don't have to think about it. It's like our real estate scripts. We don't have to think about it. It's a script. I'm just going to say it. Works every time. And then last but not least, I can add people. You scaling, that's the piece. How you get bigger, how do you think bigger? You like, hey, you start thinking about scaling. How do I do what I'm doing that's working? How do I add more people to get to do it for me? And then we start making more money, and then it starts building. Now my cash flow is bigger. I'm investing in bigger deals. My net worth is growing. My wealth is growing because I know I'm not going to sell. Like this is how I started to think big, and how you can too. So I know that was a lot, a lot more than I thought it was going to be, but I think this is important. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 ways to start thinking bigger in your money, creating wealth in your business, in real estate. This is valuable, guys, because if you don't do this, you will always think small, right? Your whole goal should be, how big can I think and how much can I do? This is the how big can I think? What are my goals? What are my money? What are my income, net worth targets? Blah, blah, blah. And then how much can I do? What are the skills? And if you don't have these skills, great. Get somebody who does. Get someone on your team, partner with someone. Go, hey, Vic, I want to work with you, man. What do I need to do? I know how to do this. You need it? Good. I got it. Or, Vic, could you teach me? Go to bell-capital.com/real estate training. Get investor school. That course is going to change your life. It is everything we're talking about. It's really an overview of what's here. And then the vehicles. What vehicle do you need to be in to think bigger? Right? Hey, I want to be in single family houses. I want nicer houses. Oh, by the way, I want to be in multifamily. Do both. Learn both. They're all through creative financing, which is what we talked about as a skill. Creative financing, and then you move into conventional financing, how to raise money, how to find the deals, find out how to find the debt for these deals, how financing works, how all that stuff works. But the vehicle starts to sell itself because it starts to answer these questions for you. If you have a business or you're an entrepreneur, you're just getting started, go there. Still got to be the money. Then last but not least, scale and scaling. What works? Because you're starting to think bigger. Hey, this worked. Don't think about what your weaknesses are. Think about what you're good at. Hey, this thing works. I'm really great at it. I'm going to do more of that, and I'm going to get more people to do more of that for me. Boom. You don't need to work on your weaknesses. That's idiotic. Work on the thing you're good at, because that keeps your confidence up while you're starting to move into this big thing. And then scale. Add more people to it. So I hope this helps you guys. Man, it helped me telling you. It was constant reinforcement. I'm thinking like, oh man, I got to step back into my real estate stuff. And the bigger thing too, man, keep this stuff around you. Get to 100 million. That's us, man. We need to raise $100 million. We will push to this thing. That is how we're going to buy $300 million worth of multifamily assets in the market that I want to be in. And when you start thinking like that, it starts like, man, well, first thing, when you think bigger, your problems that you have right now don't look that bad. If someone doesn't call me back, I don't care why. Because in my head, I'm like, hey, you need to get to $100 million. Don't worry about that person not calling you back. Don't worry about this person saying no to you. What is your goal right now? What's the target? Get to 100 million, Victor. Raise that money. Then all the other little problems that you have, bickering back and forth with people, playing online, wanting to do this, you didn't get a chance to do it. Somebody's, slow and trapped. None of that matters to you anymore. Because your whole brain is used, especially if you post it everywhere like I do. Hey, get to 100 million. You need more cash flow. Bell Capital. How's it work? We raise money from investors. We invest that money in institutional quality assets. We send our investors money every month. Like that stays in my head. That's exciting for me. That's why I think big. Because I'm constantly brainwashing myself into believing where I'm headed is a real thing. I don't have to guess. So look, if you like this video, share this video, comment on the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Don't be a hater and a hider at the same time. I say that all the time because it's important. But I want more people to know what we're doing over here at Bell Capital. I want more people to watch our videos. I want to be your #1 resource for real estate in the world. I really do. So like and subscribe with this video. Send it to your friends. If you have comments or questions for me, reach out to us. Go to bell-capital.com. You can schedule a call with myself or someone on my team if you were interested in investing money with us, because you have a great business, but you don't have the time to invest in real estate. You love real estate, but you don't want to manage and all that other stuff for apartments. I'm your guy. Hit us up. And I really, really want to connect with you. All right. So I appreciate you guys on this thing. And remember, the 4 things you have to start doing to thinking bigger. Set your goals on financial and all that other stuff. Get the idea of what skills do you need to get great at? What skills do you currently have that are already great? Then you pick a vehicle that has a long enough runway to hit those goals that you set, the new ones that you added zeros to. And then you say, okay, it's working. I'm making money. Write it down. Create a system around what I'm doing. Put more people in there, and you start cranking. And I promise you'll hit your goals, but it starts with you first. All right. I appreciate you. Have a great day today. Let's